Hey, Dr. Jeff, I see you're in the studio.
Freak Speak Studio, man, doing some filming today.
Some filming. We just wanted to get together real quick here, and I know we wanted to talk about. In fact, I'm looking at my weather app right now. It says, "Is that right? It's supposed to be over 110 here today in Bakersfield, California."
We were in the hundreds, we're in the high 90s, but it's been crazy. Usually we don't get that weather till mid-August, and we've had it, boy, the last 3 weeks.
Wow. So, what a perfect segue or time to be talking about the concept or the topic of hydration and how important it is, especially in this time.
Absolutely. And I mean, last night it was so hot at the gym. I don't know if the air conditioner wasn't working, but it was like 98 out. And I like to observe people, and watching what they were doing for hydration made me crazy. you know um, People, coffee does not hydrate you, tea does not hydrate you, sports drinks, caffeinated, non-caffeinated, does not hydrate you. So again, you got to be careful what you do. So many people are saying, boy, it's hot, I get cramped, I drink lots of tea, I drink coffee, I drink pop, how come I'm still cramping?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, so let's go to one because that's a big one. You said sports drinks. What is it about the sports drinks? And obviously, we're talking on a very broad scale because there's so many brands and things you can buy. At the 7-Eleven or whatever convenience stores buy you, or even sometimes in the the vending machines. What is it about those?
So, you got to break it into two categories because people consider these caffeinated energy drinks as sports drinks. So the caffeinated drinks do not hydrate you. They're caffeine, they're a diuretic. I mean, they're going to do the exact opposite. So be very, very careful if you're depending on that for your fluid intake. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, we have things like Gatorade. And I've said this a million times, it was developed somewhere back in the 50s, great for the technology at that time, but we now know that sugar is bad for you, and salt is only one electrolyte, and it throws off your whole electrolyte balance. So, they really aren't doing anything for you other than dehydrating you. So again, you got to be very, very careful with those items, because again, a lot of them promote that they're going to hydrate you, but again, it's all hype. Nothing else from that standpoint. Nothing beats good old water, H2O, best way to hydrate. And my rule of thumb is 8 ounces times 8 times a day. And I know when they say that, people give me all kind of flack, but you got to have some starting point. Because when you say to drink water, people don't know. They think if they drink one little 8-ounce bottle, that's good enough. But, water is the best way to hydrate.
Sure. And it's been proven, and it should just, even from anecdotal evidence of people, if you will almost hyperhydrate and go train, you will feel stronger. You'll have more energy overall, because part of it is that muscle tissue is absorbing the fluid. And so you just have that hydraulic effect. And as the thing is, what's weird is what, like they say, by the time you get thirsty, it's a little too late. You should have already been way ahead of the thirst. And it's hard to catch up once you really get behind the curve.
And you got to be careful with, most people drink bottled water now. The purified drinking water, they've taken all the minerals out. So that will actually dehydrate you. Where some of the other brands, where it's spring water and they've added minerals back, you do get the water aspect of it. But again, sometimes good old tap water, with all that stuff in there is probably the best. When we were a kid, it was the hose.
I'll say garden hose. Yeah, we lived dangerously back then. Woo!
Woo, boy, yeah.
But somehow we lived to tell.
Exactly. I mean, one of the reasons why I developed Carbolin Hydrate was specifically for this reason. There's a lack of things for people to take. It's good to replenish glucose levels during exercise. And then you've got the right ratio of electrolytes. You've got all of them in there so that you're not throwing off, having one electrolyte or two, you're kind of throwing off that imbalance. And it really doesn't work as well as having all of them. And they're not in such, grams, because you don't need a lot. You just need a little bit. You know, you're sipping on stuff, you know, during training. But again, nothing beats good old water.
Yeah, well, I guess when it comes to electrolytes, that saying less is more would definitely
Yep.
apply there. The other thing actually about Carbolin that you brought up is it's sugar free.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, hot weather across the country, you know, even if you're sitting in an office, you are still sweating and you're still dehydrating. So again, you know, it's good to drink water throughout the day. If you're exercising, you know, try the carbohydrate. Great way to hydrate. Plus, replace those glycogen stores. Help you get through your training, your running, and if you're outside working in the yard, again, you know, have water with you. I was out 4th of July. It was hotter than get out, and I took my Yeti and filled it up with hydrate, and I actually put some EAAs in there just to get a little protein, sort of.
Yeah.
But it kept me hydrated, and I was out in the sun a little bit too much, but you know, I didn't cramp or get dehydrated. So
Sure. Yeah, well, and that's the other thing is you see like let's say soccer, you know, a lot of young kids play that.
Right.
And their parents will just rush them through some kind of drive through on the way there to fast food place, and they have a Coke and a burger, whatever else. So taking in all that sodium and then drinking a caffeinated soda, pure sugar, and then trying to run around the field to be effective at that game. Imagine if they ate a solid meal and had like a hydrate or similar in their system, how much better would their performance be? And just the health aspects and the safety.
well, and so many, I mean, pop, soda, whatever part of the country you're from, sales go up in the summertime because, again, people get thirsty. You know, a pop is kind of addicted, you know, the bubbles, the carbon
Oh,
dioxide.
they know how to market that stuff with the water dripping down the bottle. It looks all cold.
Sugared or non-sugared, but all those chemicals and stuff in there. I mean, again, that does not hydrate you. So again, you got to be very careful. You know, when you get to the point of dehydration, I mean, things can start to shut down. And again, you don't want to get to that aspect in it. You just want to, again, keep drinking.
Yeah, it's definitely more dangerous than I think people realize.
Yep.
And again, we're talking about high performance. If you're an athlete or bodybuilder or whatever, just someone trying to maximize your training because you're doing all this effort and diet, you may as well make the most of it. Just stay hydrated. You wouldn't believe the difference it makes.
Oh yeah, I mean, you feel better, and you know, actually drinking water, you know, cuts your appetite. So if you're on a weight loss plan, you know, drinking plenty of water keeps you full. Again, you feel better, you sleep better, you know, you have more energy. You wouldn't think it was, you know, that water would affect you that way, but it does. I mean, our body is, I don't know, what, 70%, 80% water. I mean, you know, we've got to hydrate.
Yeah. That percentage is always obviously debatable, but it is definitely a very high percentage. And it's the thing that people are so bent on. I got to have my proper protein per day. It's like they overlook the whole fluid thing. That's almost more important in some ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there you have it, folks. Stay hydrated.
Yeah. So some quick takeaways, as you said, what do you think? 8 glasses of 8 ounces at a minimum per day.
It's kind of a, you know, starting point, or, you know, something to think about.
It's something to measure by.
Yeah. Don't depend on coffee, pop, sodas, and, you know, these salted, sugared sports drinks or the caffeinated sports drinks to hydrate you. The same thing with tea, you know, diuretic, don't depend on that. Now, that doesn't mean you can't drink those, but make sure that you get your water in. And before you exercise train, you definitely want to mix carbohydrate with water. So you're getting all the benefits of the water, but you're also getting, you know, the glucose and the electrolytes. So,
Well, and obviously carbohydrate is one of our products. So we have a bias here. We'll admit it all the way. But why we say it's superior is, again, because it's sugar-free. Yep. And the electrolyte balance is actually on the lower end of the scale. So you don't kind of overdo that part of it.
Exactly. So a little bit of science mixed with some water. There you have it, the best of both worlds.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, hey, I think this is a good place to end. Gave some people some solid info, and hopefully we're helping people.
Cool.
All right. I'll check you next time.
All right.